Okay everyone, I'm actually recording this video with reference to ACC5FAS Workshop 9, which is about Microsoft Access. So in this workshop you will be creating a number of queries, and as I mentioned in the lecture, the queries are there to answer the questions that you have with regards to a database. Okay, so let's have a look at the workshop 9. Here it says that Barbara would like to create some queries to extract some information from the database. Make the following changes for Barbara using the windepot2 file you created in previous question. Firstly, the first query is that create a select query that lists the type, winery, and price for all wines on hand from winery number 4. Save this query as WD1 windepot case and then print it. Print means that a screenshot of the final outcome and also the codes written required. So let's do it together. So this is the file. This is the file that I've got from the LMS. So if I show you where I got the file, give me a second. So if you look at week 9, so this is the database file. So I've downloaded this one and I opened it. So this is the database file. So you want to create a query. To create a query you need to, so we have the tables here in the navigation pane, which I explained before. So I click on create, then I click on query design, and then I click on shift, and using my mouse select all the tables and then add them up. Okay, and then close this one. So when I add them up, I have all these. I just can basically move around the tables, so the tables look, the relationships actually it becomes clear. So let's read the question together once again. I'm gonna just bring up the question for myself on another window that I have. So the window that I have, I bring up the support. Okay, so the question says that create a select query that lists the type. So we need the type. So I double click on type, so it appears in the navigation pane here. Winery. So I double click on the winery and price. So I get the price for all wines on hand from winery number 4. Okay, we want winery number 4. So I set the criteria to be 4, right? And I think it should be working now. So let's click on run together. Yep, so we have 2 wines from winery number 4, and give me a second, I check that again with my solution. Yep, we have 2 wines from winery number 4. One is $15.49, the other one is $22. Now, what should I save this query as? It says save the query as WD1. So I right click on the query, save WD1. Okay, and then I click on OK. Now let's read the next query together. So let me actually close this query. So I close it. Now the query appear here in your navigation pane. You should be able to see that the query is appearing over here, right? So the next question, let's read the next question. Create a select query that lists the type, winery name, and price for all wines whose buyer name is Michael Jackson. Save this query as WD2 windepot case B. and then print it. So a screenshot of the final outcome and also the code written required. So we just want the screenshot. So so let's do it together. So select query, list of type, binary name, price. So let's do it together. Oops, sorry. So this is the one. So again, I click on create. Then one second. Yep. So I have to click on create. Then I click on query design. Click on query design. Let's open all the tables. I open all the tables. I move the tables around so that I can see the relationships clearly. Right, then I just make the tables bigger. So I need a type. Is that right? So I need type, binary name, price. Is that right? So just no. So I need a type, binary name, price for all wines. Okay, hang on. Type. Okay. I need a name. So where is a name? Name is in this table. And I have the name in the buyer table as well. Right? So type binary name price. So where is the price? Price is here. Right? For all it says for all buyers, the buyer name should be Michael Jackson. So type binary name price for all buyers, the name should be Michael Jackson. So the name of the buyer should be Michael Jackson. So I got the name from the binary table, the name from the buyer table, and I've got the price and the name of the buyer. The criteria for the name of the buyer is that the name of the buyer should be Michael Jackson. So here put the double quote Michael Jackson and close the quote, and I think it should work. So click on run. Yep. So we have. So let's actually we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. Yep, 5 wines from these wineries, and the buyer for all these wines is Michael Jackson, right? And these are the prices. Okay. So we save this query as WD2. Right, so query BWD2 or whatever, WD2. I just save it as WD2. And once again, I right click and close it. Now, what is the next query? The next query, it says that create a select query that lists SKU and type for wines types that contain the word blank. Save this query as WD3 wine depot case C, and then print it. Okay, so SKU and type. So we want SKU and type for all wines that include the word blank, right? Include the word blank. Okay. Yep. So we want the buyer blah 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 include the word blank. So let's do it together. So once again, I click on create. I click on query design, and then I double click on each table and bring them up. So then I click on close the table. I actually move the tables to be able to see the relationships. Now I want the SKU and I want the type for all wines that include for all the wine types. So it says for all wine types that include the word blank. So the word blank could be anywhere within the sentence. right? So I put quotation mark star, so shift 8, and I write blank, and then a star again, and then quotation mark. Now if it says all Vine types that start with word blank, I should put I change this one, so let me change this one. I put quotation mark blank and then a star, okay, and then quotation mark. So this every sentence that start with word blank. When it says, if it says that every Vine type that ends up with blank, I put a star and then blank and then close the quotation mark, right? But here the question says that every Vine type that includes the word blank. So I put star, blank, a star, and then close the quotation, right? So this is how it is. Now it should be working now. Yep, so as you can see, I have this type 1 fume blank and Suvinon blank. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Vine type, and these are the SKU numbers or stock code number. We save this one, right click, save WD3, and then save, okay, and then I right click and close, okay. So this is the other one. So next one, let's go to the next one. Edit the query you just created in 3C above. Add fields for cost and vintage and remove the SKU field. Change the criteria of the query from type that include the word blank to types that begin with the letter S, right? And save this query as WD4. Okay, let's see what is happening here. So it's a little bit getting, as you see, it's getting a little bit more difficult. So we can actually create a new query. We don't really have to change the previous query. You can create a new query here. So so what did we have in the previous query? We had SKU and type for all wines, but here we do not want the SKU anymore, right? Okay, so we actually can create a new query. We don't really have to change the previous query. We can create a new query, and instead of having the SKU, we will have only the type, right? And then because here it says that add the cost, we also add the cost. We had the type from before, we add the type, but we don't add SKU. We add vintage, right? So we will have type, cost, vintage, right? And then we don't want the SKU. So to change the criteria of the query from types that include the word blank, so we don't want the blank here, to types that begin with letter S. Save this query as WD4. Okay, so let's do it together. So we click on create, query design, and I basically double click, get every table. I move the tables around so I will be able to see the relationships. Now, so I said I don't want the SKU anymore, but I want the type, I want the cost, and I want the vintage. Let's see, where is the vintage? Yeah, this is the vintage. Now for the type, this time the type I want the word to start with letter S. Now I put quotation mark S, and then I have star, and then close the quotation mark. Okay, so we want the type of the Vine to start with the word S. So S should be at the beginning of the sentence. If it says that S could be anywhere within the sentence, I put quotation mark star S and then star quotation mark. So it is within anywhere within the sentence. But here it says that we want S to be at the beginning. If it says that S could be at the end, I put quotation mark star S and then quotation mark. So this is basically S at the end. But here again it says that S should be at the beginning. So S, quotation mark S, star, and then quotation mark. Okay? So quotation mark S, star, and then quotation mark. So click on run. So we have, as you can see, these pseudonym blank, pseudonym blank, Sierra, pseudonym blank, 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 and these are the vintage and the cost. Okay, so we need to save this one as WD4. So I save WD4. And then I click on OK. And then I right click and close it. Now let's read the next question. Give me a second. I just something here. I come back in a minute. Okay, so yep, let's get back to this. So the next one, it says that create a select query that lists type, price, winery name, buyer name, phone number for all wines with a price greater than $35. Save this query as WD5, wine depot case E, and then print blah blah blah. So WD5, let's do it together. So what do we want? We want the type, we want the price, we want the name from the winery table, we want the name from the buyer table, and we want the phone number for all wines with a price greater than $35. So type, price, name from the winery table, name from the buyer table, phone number for all wines with a price greater than $35. So let's do it together. Okay, so we click on create, we click on query design, we add each table, so I double click on each table, they will add up, and then I close the show table section. Then I move my queries so I will be able to see the queries clearly, right? So I want the type, so double click on the type so it appears here in the navigation pane. I want the price, so double click on the price, name from the winery table, name from the buyer table, and the phone number. So where is the phone number? Yeah, phone number is here in the buyer table. So I double click on the phone, and I want the price to be higher than $35. So I set the criteria for the price to be higher than $35. Higher than 35. Okay, so it should be fine. So if it says lower than 35, I put lower than 35. If it says higher than or equal 35, so I put higher than or equal 35. Okay, if it says lower than or equal 35, I put lower than or equal 35. So it really is the criteria. So higher than 35. So I click on run, and as you can see, I got all the wine types which have a price higher than $35. Right, so I have Chardonnay, Merlot, Cabernet, Chardonnay, Cabernet, so the price for each one is $41, $36, $120, $61, and $75, and I have the phone number for each one. Okay, so this is WD5. So let's move on to the next window. So WD5, save WD5, and then OK, and then close. And every time make sure that you close all the tables here. We don't want to, hey, we don't want our Microsoft Access to have a lot of tables or queries open in Microsoft Access. After creating a query, just close the query, save the query, and close it. Okay, we don't want to have lots of tables to be open here. Now let's what is the next one? WD6. Let's have a look at the query of WD6. It says that create a select query that lists the type, okay, price, binary name, so name from the binary table, name from the buyer table, which is buyer name, and the phone number. Oh, sorry, we did this one. Sorry. So you have to, oh, yeah, sorry, no, phone number, yeah, phone number for all wines with a price greater than 35, greater than 35, but less than 50. Okay, that's quite simple. Again, so it's quite similar to the previous one. The only thing is that the criteria is changing, okay? So, yeah, maybe in half an hour. So create a select query. So we want to create a select query. So create query design. So I get the buyer table, binary product, binary table. I close it. So move them around. So I want the type. I want the price. I want the name from the binary table. I want the name from the buyer table. And I want the phone number, right? So the criteria for the price should be that the price is higher than 35, less than 50. So make it higher than 35. We put as and less than 50. So it's higher than 35 and less than 50 for the price. So that's the criteria for the price. Higher than 35, less than 50. So it should be working. So let's click on the run and see if it is working or not. Yep. So we have Chardonnay and Merlot. The price for them is $36, which is higher than 35, less than 50. And Chardonnay $41, higher than 35, less than 50. So this is WD6, query F or WD6. So I should save it as WD6. WD6 and then I close it. So right click and close. So query F, right? Then G. So the G. Create a select query that lists SKU, okay, type, binary name, so name from the binary table, price, okay, price, we will have price, quantity, okay, and the retail value, which is a computed field, which is quantity times price, formatted as the currency, okay. For all Chardonnay wines, okay, for all Chardonnay wines, sorted in descending order, okay, by retail value, descending order retail value. Save the query as WD7. Okay, that's getting a little bit more difficult. So let's do it together. So retail value should be currency, right? Retail value should be formatted as currency. A retail value is basically calculated by multiplying quantity by the price, right? Okay. And then we calculate it for Chardonnay wines, and it should be sorted in descending order by the retail value. So let's do it together. Okay. So we go create query design, double click on each table, close this table. I'll move around the relationships so they appear properly. So I just want to see what's happening. Okay, I want the SKU. Okay, SKU, double click on SKU, type, name from the binary table because it says binary name, and then price. So where is the price? Price is here. Quantity is here, and I want to basically I want to create a new basically a new field which is called retail value. So let's see how do we create a retail value. So I click on here, I click on this field, and as you can see, an option appears here which is called builder option. So click on the builder option, right? In the builder option, have your in the builder option. So let's see what do I want in the builder option. So in the builder option, if I click on query 1, what did I have? No, I don't want this one. So I click on functions. No, week 9 workshop. Oh yeah. So I click on ACC5FAS week 9 databases. I click on tables. Yep. What do I want from the tables? And I just want to see what I want. It just has been a while I wouldn't work with Microsoft Access, so okay, so I want the quantity. So quantity is in the wine product table, isn't it? Quantity is the wine product table. So I double click on the wine product table. I want the quantity. So I double click on quantity, and then I want it to be multiplied. So do we have parameters here? Hang on, I want this to be multiplied. So common expressions, no, operators. Oh yeah, here you go. I want the multiplication. Yeah. So multiplied by what? So I go up, and I want it to be multiplied by the price. Price is in which table? Price is in the wine product table. Yeah. So wine product table, and then double click on the price. Right. So that's about it, and then click on OK. So what I did was that. All right. Let's do it together once again. So and then if I click on OK, so it appears over here. So so I do it again. Let's do it again together. So let's do it again together. So I click on this field, and when I click on this field, an option appears here which is called builder. So I click on builder, and on the builder, find your tables. So if I click on ACC5FAS week 9 databases, and then I click on tables, I double click on the tables, my tables will appear. Now I want the quantity from the wine product table to be multiplied by the price from the wine product table. So what I do is that I find the quantity which is here within the wine product table, and then I can actually do Shift 8 and put the star, but I will use all the expression builder options. So I click on operators, and then I use the star button. So double click on star, then I go back to the wine product table, and then I click on price. Is that price? Quantity multiplied by, and I go back again. So quantity multiplied by the price. Here I double click on the price. So and then I click on OK. Now when it appears here, as you can see, it appears here down the below. It appears at expression 1. So I can actually change the name to retail value. So I can change the name to retail value on the here. Right? Now, what is the next thing that needs to be done? The next thing that needs to be done is that for all Chardonnay wines, so the wine name should be Chardonnay. So the name from the winery table, the criteria is that it should be Chardonnay. So I just type Chardonnay, CHARDONNAY, and it should be sorted. It should be sorted in descending order by retail value. Sorted in descending order. So sort is here, descending order by retail value, right? Descending retail value. So if you click on run, oops, hang on. So it should be something missing. I just go back to the design view. I think I missed something. So I have SKU. Hang on, just give me a second. I just do it again. So SKU type, yeah. On type should be Chardonnay. Sorry, not name. Type should be Chardonnay. Sorry, type, isn't it? Yep. Chardonnay wine. So then type of wine should be Chardonnay. So I put it as Chardonnay here. So it's very important. You see, if you do one mistake, everything will go wrong. So type of winery should be Chardonnay. Type of wine, because we don't have the name of the winery. We want the type of wine to be Chardonnay. And SKU, type, winery, name, price, quantity, and then we multiply the quantity by the price, and we sorted that on descending order. The criteria for the type was Chardonnay, so I click on run. Yep, so I get the type of the winery, the type of wine is Chardonnay, and this is the retail value, which is the quantity multiplied by the price. And yeah, so I've got that. Okay, so let's save this one as WD7. Right click, save WD7. Okay, and then I right click and close it. Okay, now let's see what is the next one. So create an update query, right? That changes the price of all wines to be 150% of the cost. Right, so the price of all wines to be 150% of the cost. Okay, so actually, so I was talking about which one? Talking about the update query. But before I go to the update query, I just wanted to tell you something else, because I didn't really go through this one. So computed field, it says quantity multiplied by the price formatted as currency. So let's have a look at the table again. So this is the table that we are looking at. WD7, the retail value is currency. But if it is not in format of currency, what you do is that you go to the view, you go to the design view, and this is the retail value. You click on the field for the retail value, right? So I'm clicking on the field for the retail value, and a property sheet actually appears here. Under the format, you need to change the format into currency, right? So make sure you under the property sheet, change the format into currency for the retail value. So to do that, you click on the retail value field, you go to the property sheet for the retail value field, and under the format, you change the format to the currency, and then you click on run. But it was on the currency anyway, so if it wasn't, so you will change the format under the property sheet to currency. Okay, so that's a trick for currency. Okay, now let's have a look at the update query. Update query is a little bit different. You can do the update query in two different ways. I personally don't like to have update query in an assignment, because update query will what the update query does is that it changes the whole database, right? So it is better that and then it is, because let's read the sentence. It says create an update query that changes the price of all wines to be 150% of the cost. Okay. Save this query as WD8. So instead of actually changing the price of all the wines to be 150% of the cost, we can create a select query, and then in that select query we create a new field, and then compute the price of the wine to be 150% of the cost. Okay, so we can do that using a select query without basically changing the whole sorry, just where I am. So yeah, without changing the whole thing, without changing the whole sort of the whole database, right? Because if you use the update query, if I'm using the update query, the whole database will be changed and the price of all the wines will be changed. Because I don't want this to happen, I can actually create a new field and I call it updated price. So I hope you understand me. So let me show it to you, and then you will I'll show it to you in two different ways and it make more sense to you. Okay, so what does it want? So it wants an update query that changes the price of all the wines to be 150% of the cost. Okay, so what do you do? So let me close this one. And yes, because I changed this retail value to. So what I do is that I click on create, and then I click on query design. Let me actually see the tables that I have here, and I click on close, put the buyer table here, wine product table here. So what is the question? The question says that create an update query that changes the price of all the wines to be 150% of the cost. So price to be 150% of the cost. So the price which is here to be 150% of the cost, right? 150% means that 1.5. So the cost should have been multiplied by 1.5, right? So the only table that we are dealing with is the wine product table. So we don't have to do anything with the winery table or the buyer table. Now I want all the fields within the wine product table. So if I want to have all the fields within the wine product table, I can actually double click on the star button and it will bring the whole table for me in the new query. So I double click on the star and then all the wine product table fields will be over there. Now I need to create a new field and I call that new field to be updated price, and the updated price will be the cost multiplied by 1.5, which says that the price is equal to 1.5 multiplied by the cost. Okay, so I click on this field here and then I go to the builder once again. So I compute a new field, and this new field will be called updated price. So I can easily call it updated price. And what is updated price? So I go to the table for the wine product table, right? And I want the cost. So I double click on the cost and I use the operator. I double click on the star button and then I want it to be multiplied by 1.5. Okay, and then I click on OK, right? Oops, and the expression you entered contains an invalid syntax. Give me a second. Okay, just do it again together. So I think I think I just messed it up. So I do it again. So I go to the builder, ACC5FAS week 9 tables. I want the wine product table. I want from the wine product table I want the cost to be multiplied by common expressions operators multiplied by 1.5. Okay, I click on OK. So this is called expression 1. I can change the expression 1 to be equal to updated price. I change the name up here so it doesn't create any problem. Now I want this to be formatted as currency, so I click on this field and I go to the property sheet. On the property sheet, on the format, I can change the format to be currency. Do I have this format of currency? Hang on, so it's a updated price format line dates should be currency. Yep, this is currency. Yep, so the format is currency here. Yep, that's it. So should be working now. I think, yeah, I call it on run. So now you have the table, you have the price, you have the whole table: SKU, type, binary, price, cost, size, vintage, quantity, picture, and then you have a that you actually, I'm gonna just make it a bit bigger. You build it, you compute it field, and the updated price is cost multiplied by 1.5. So if you multiply cost 17.50 by 1.5, you get the updated price, right? But your price was $22. Now it is $26.25. Okay, $14.40 multiplied by 1.5 give you $21.60. We can actually use the calculator and see that. So I put the calculator here. So $14.40, $14.40 multiplied by 1.5 give you $21.60. You see that? And then $22 multiplied by 1.5 give you 30 and 20. Sorry, $22 was the cost. Sorry, $17.50. $17.50 multiplied by 1.5 give you the updated price, which is $26.25. One more, $72 multiplied by 1.5 is $108. So we have the updated price, which is 1.5 multiplied by the cost. So we got that through a select query. So I didn't do an update query, I did a select query, and I've got a new field which is called updated price, and this is cost multiplied by 1.5. I like the select query much more than the update query, because update query basically changed my whole database, and I don't want my whole database to be changed. So that's why in this case I use the select query, and I computed a new field and I call it updated price. And in this case I can easily create a new field in my wine product table and see the updated prices, and also I can see the previous prices. Because if I did create an update query, I couldn't actually see the previous price anymore, because the previous price would be changed automatically, right? So I just save it as so what should I save this one as? Save this one as WD8. So I put it WD8. So save, I put it WD8 second way, so second method. And I close it. Now we will return back to the update query again, so because I want to actually show you how to create the update query as well. And so I've mentioned that. So to answer this question, firstly, create a copy of the wine product table, name it updated wine product. So a copy of the wine product table, updated wine product, then run the query on the updated wine product table, then this would prevent from your main table to be changed. So we'll do it again later on. Let's do query number I, and we will return back to this update query again. So create a parameter query that lists SKU, right? So I'm just going to second. So WD9, yeah. So okay. So it says that create a parameter query that lists SKU, type, winery name, and the price. The query should ask what type of wine, and sort the query in descending order by price, and save this query as WD9. Run the query for .noir wines and then print it. right? Okay, so we want a parameter query. The parameter query basically is another type of select query. In this case, the only thing is that you adding a question to the type of the vine, and every time someone actually click on the query, it asks you what type of vine you want, and you provide an answer, and then if the answer is provided, then they will give you the price of the wine, right? So the code of the wine and the price of the wine. Okay, so let's do it together. So let's see how's that. So we click on create. We click on query design. So we have 3 tables. Yeah, my wife is here. She wants to feed the baby, so you might hear some baby noise. So you create a parameter query that lists the SKU, type, and winery. So SKU, type, and type from the wine product table. And then you have the winery name, so name from the winery table. And then you have the price. So you have the price. So where is the price? The price is here from the wine product table. So double click on the price. And it says the query should ask what type of wine. So what type of wine? So the question should appear under the type. So we put it on the bracket, So let's see, what type of wine, and this is a question, and close the bracket, and then I have other, hang on, it should be in the bracket, not the bracket. This is what type of wine, and then another thing is that sort the query in descending order by price. Sort the order in sort descending by price. So I sort descending by price. And then it says save the query as WD9. So let's run the query. As you can see, it says what type of wine. So it says run it for Point Noir. So I just copy Point Noir, and it's in the answer I put Point Noir, and I click on OK. So here you go. So you see Point Noir, and then the price is $30, $22, $21. Price is descending format. So I save this one, save as WD9. So WD9. Here we go. So we done it. So I just click on the design view again. So I show to you SKU, type, what type of wine, winery name from the winery table, price, descending format, and then I have a question here. Every time I run it, it asks me what type of wine. So if I just go for another wine type, I can easily let me see what other type of wine I have. Let's do it for another type of wine, fume blank. Let's do it for fume blank. So fume blank. Here you go. Right, let's do it again. So let's do it again, right? I click on run again. So and this type, this one I put it for Syrah. S-Y-R-A-H. I click on OK. I have 2 Syrah. $35, $30, right? Okay, so we did it. So I click on save, and then I close it. Now let's go back to the WD8, which was basically the update query. We did it through the select query, and when we created an updated field for that, right? So I just want to do it again through the through the update query. So let's do it again. So it says create an update query that changes the price of all wines to be 150% of the cost. Remember to back up your file first. So save this query as WD8, blah, blah, blah. So to do this, we create an updated wine product table. So let's do an updated wine product table. So what I do is that I just go to this here, and this is my wine product table. I right click on the wine product table. I copy that. Let me see if I can create a new one. Yeah, I copy that, and I paste it here. Under the paste, I call it, so I copy and paste it, I call it updated wine product table. So I call it updated wine product table. Here you go. So this is the updated wine product table. So if I click on it, it's here. So I don't want my wine product table to be changed. So I click on updated wine product table and I run it on the updated wine product table. So I close it. Then I go to the create. Then I go to the query design. And this time I get the updated wine product table. Right? I didn't get the wine product table because I didn't want the wine product table to be changed. So I get the updated wine product table, right? Now, what is the query? The query says that so this one, the query should be an update query. So I change the query from select to update, right? So I select the query from basically select to update. So if I do it select, you see that I have filled table, sort, show, criteria, or if I change it on the top to update, I will have filled table, update to criteria, or, right? So what needs to be changed? Which field do we have to change? The price field, right? We get the price and we need to update it. So update will be cost multiplied by 1.5. So basically I can use the builder and we can go to the ACC5 blah blah blah. We can go to the tables. We can go to the updated wine product, and this is going to be cost multiplied by 1.5. And then I can click on OK. Right, 1.5. So it should be working. I think it should be working. So if I click on run, it says you are about to update 25 rows. Once you click yes, you can't use the undo command to reverse the changes. So that's why I didn't use the update query, because it would change the whole prices. Are you sure you want to update the records? I say yes, because we are basically getting the field price and we are updating it by multiplying the cost by 1.5. So I click on yes, and it says Microsoft Access cannot update all the records in the update query. Microsoft Access didn't update 0 fields due to a type conversion failure. Hang on, yes, hang on, just do it again. So give me a second, I just want to see what is the problem. Didn't do it, hang on, I just do it again. So do it this way, so I'll do it. So I click on yes, and I click on view, and I click on data sheet view. Alright, so only the price has changed. So probably, hang on, I just do it again. Alright, okay, hang on, I do it again. So now, I just go to the updated wine product table. This is the updated wine product table. I click on, so I click get rid of, so I didn't change the price anyway, so this is the price that I have, and this is the cost. Just hang on. Oh no, it has actually changed the price, yeah. There you go. Yeah, it did change it anyway. Yeah, it did change it. It did change it, hang on, I do it again. So Give me a second. I close this one. I get rid of this one. I do it again from the start. So it's a little bit tricky. So I copy. So sorry for the time. So I copy that and I paste it again, and I call it updated wine product table. I call it updated wine product table. I click on OK. So this is the updated wine product table. I click on create, then I click on query design. So I only want the updated wine product table. I close it, right? And what I do is that I change my basically command query type from select to update, right? I will have SKU type, winery, cost, size, vintage, quantity, picture, and the only thing that I want is price to be updated to. So the price should be updated to cost multiplied by 1.5. So what I do is that I go to the builder and tables, updated wine product table. I will have cost multiplied by 1.5, and I click on OK, and this time I click on run and it says yes, and I say yes, and I click on view and I go to the datasheet view. Oops, yeah, as you can see, it did actually update only one field, so it really doesn't make any sense because you have to go back and see that. So I click on save. So I WD8 first method, and then I click on OK. Now if you actually click on the updated wine product table, you see that all the prices are changed, right? So if I click on the WD8 second method, you see that $36, hang on, 17.5. Oh yeah, so for this one is point nor 24 is multiplied by 1.5, and let's see, just bring the calculator. 24 multiplied by 1.5 give you $36. Here we go. You see, $36 updated wine product table, 24 multiplied by 1, and here if you find point nor, yep, 20. Yep, $24. This is the point of 11350 has been $36. Yeah, and this is 11350. Yep, $24, $36. So both of them are doing the same thing, but I think the second method, I think the updated one, update query is not a very, is not a really good one. That's why I didn't have it in your assignment either, because you can actually do a lot of things with the select query rather than using the update query. So update query is just a little bit confusing, and we can easily use the select query and do what we wanted to do using the select query rather than using an update query, and that's why I didn't use the update query in your assignment. But you have parameter query in your assignment, which is not that difficult either, right? So just every time you click on the a parameter query, you can actually use a new wine. So let's say this time I will go with Merlot and I click on it, so you have the parameter query. So that's basically about this week of tutorial for ACC5FAS, so week 9 workshop. So I saved it on recording this, and I will make it available to you in a few minutes. It's only 59 minutes, so make sure you watch it, and it is very educative. You should be able to use it for your assignment purposes as well. So I wish you luck, and yeah, if you had any question, let me know. Thank you. Bye.